The American Indian Wars, or Indian Wars, were the multiple conflicts between American settlers or the United States government and the native peoples of North America from the time of earliest colonial settlement until 1924. In some cases, wars resulted from conflicts and competition for resources between the European colonists and Native Americans. There was population pressure as settlers expanded their territory, generally pushing indigenous people northward and westward. Warfare and raiding also took place as a result of wars between European powers in North America. These enlisted their Native American allies to help them conduct warfare against each other's settlements. Many conflicts were local, involving disputes over land use, and some entailed cycles of reprisal. Particularly in later years, conflicts were spurred by ideologies such as Manifest Destiny, which held that the United States was destined to expand from coast to coast on the North American continent. In the 1830s, the United States had a policy of Indian removal east of the Mississippi River, which was a planned, large-scale removal of indigenous peoples from the areas where Europeans were settling, particularly in the years leading up to congressional passage of the related act. There was armed conflict between settlers and Native Americans. Some removal was achieved through sale or exchange of territory through treaties. The Census Bureau in 1894 counted over 40 wars during the 57 years between 1789 and 1846, which killed 19,000 whites and about 30,000 Indians. However, it did note that the number of Indians killed was likely 50% higher than this, for a total of 45,000. Effects on indigenous populations. On the 2010 census, 0.9% of the U.S. population identified themselves as being Native American. No consensus exists on how many Native people lived in the Americas before the arrival of Columbus, but extensive research has been, and continues to be conducted. An estimated 15 to 20 million natives lived in North America prior to the arrival of Columbus. As the direct result of infectious diseases, wars between tribes, wars with Europeans, migration to Canada and Mexico, declining birth rates, and of assimilation, the numbers of Native Americans dropped to below 1 million in the 19th century. Scholars believed that the overwhelming main causes were new infectious diseases carried by European explorers and traders. Native Americans had no acquired immunity to such diseases, which had been chronic in Eurasian populations for over 5 centuries. For instance, some estimates indicate case fatality rates of 80 to 90% in Native American populations during smallpox epidemics. The U.S. Bureau of the Census provided an estimate of deaths due specifically to war during the 57 years between 1789 and 1846. The Indian Wars under the government of the United States have been more than 40 in number. They have cost the lives of about 19,000 white men, women and children, including those killed in individual combats, and the lives of about 30,000 Indians. The actual number of killed and wounded Indians must be very much higher than the number given. 50% additional would be a safe estimate. Colonial period. From 1600 or so, the process of English settlement was contested by some tribes. The wars ranged from the 17th century Jamestown Massacre of 1622, Pequot War of 1637, Anglo-Powhatan Wars, King Philip's War, and King William's War. During the 18th century, there were the Tuscarora War, Jamassi War, Father Lalauta's War, Pontiac's War and Lord Dunmore's War. In other instances, warfare in North America was a reflection of European rivalries, with Native American tribes splitting their alliances among the powers, often the trading partners. For instance, in Queen Anne's War, Father Rail's War, King George's War, and the French and Indian War, various Native American tribes fought on each side of the wars, allying with British or French colonists according to their own self-interests. Similarly, in the American Revolution and the War of 1812, Native American tribes in the territories of conflict differed in their alliances, because the Cherokee supported the British in the Revolution and raided frontier American settlements, in the hopes of expelling the interlopers. Rebel American forces mounted retaliations such as the Cherokee expedition against them. The contributions of those Native American tribes who fought for the United States, such as the Oneida and Tuscarora nations of the Iroquois Confederacy in New York, who were among the founders of the nation, are often rendered invisible.